Coffee on Rashad YouTube channel, Rashad Mitchell's YouTube channel. Excuse me, Rashad Mitchell's YouTube channel. Excuse me, Rashad Mitchell's YouTube channel. This is Rashad Mitchell. Let's get into Life and Spirit Study Bible for tonight. Ezekiel Chapter 40, 41, and 43. Then get into the March Madness book. 1948 Kentucky Wildcats. All right, we're going to start with chapter 40. Verse 5. I saw a wall completely surrounding the temple area. The length of the measuring rod in the man's hand was 6 long cubits, each of which was a cubit and a handbreadth. He measured the wall. It was 1 measuring rod thick and 1 rod high. Temple area. That means that there are 3 main interpretations of Ezekiel's temple vision. Number 1 is a symbolic temple picturing the eternal state described in Revelation chapter 21 and 22. And number 2, a symbolic temple describing the blessings of the millennial kingdom. Or 3, a furniture, lyrical temple that will be built during the millennial kingdom, regardless of which interpretation is adopted. The main teachings are that number 1, someday God's presence, glory will be restored to his people forever. 2, that Christ's blessings will flow out in an everlasting, deepening stream. In verse 5, same verse, wall completely surrounding. This wall would mark the temple area of set it apart from the rest of the city, because believers whose bodies are now the living temples of the Holy Spirit must keep themselves separated from the sinful society around, set apart for God and his holy purposes. Chapter 41, verse 1. Then the man brought me to the outer sanctuary and measured the jambs. The width of the jambs was 6 cubits on each side. The outer sanctuary. The temple Ezekiel saw is somewhat different than Solomon's temple. Nothing is said about the altar of incense, the lampstand, or the Ark of the Covenant. The reason for the difference is not explained. Finally, I'm going to start with chapter 43. In verse 5, it says, Then the Spirit lifted me up and brought me into the inner court, and the glory of the Lord filled the temple. Right, glory of the Lord filled the temple. That means that the book of Ezekiel is beginning with an awe-inspiring vision of God's glory. Chapters 8 to 11 describe how God's glory progressively imparted from the temple and city because of the people's sins. Ezekiel concludes with another awe-inspiring vision. God's glory, God's power, God's love. Very simple. In the city because of the people's sins. Ezekiel concludes with another awe-inspiring vision. God's glory, power, and love filling the temple again. Whereas the Holy Spirit came from heaven on the day of Pentecost like the sound of a violent wind. In Acts chapter 2, verse 2. Now here Ezekiel is witnesses the return of God's glory, like a roar of rushing waters, and the land was radiant with his glory. We should desire above all else to see God's glory manifested within the church throughout the operation of the Holy Spirit. The absence of such holy and burning desire is evidence of spiritual. This page I ripped off among God's people. So that's it for that. So I'll be in chapter 44, 45, and 46 on Monday. I won't be on tomorrow. Do no live feed tomorrow. Chapter 44, chapter 44, 45, 46 will be on the docket tomorrow. I mean on Monday. I'll also do my usual on this day. I mean the week that was in the NBA, that'll be on Sunday. I won't be doing no live feeds tomorrow. All right, let's get into the March Madness book, 1948 Kentucky Wildcats. For the 1948 tournament, the NCAA deemed it fair to give 50% of the proceeds to the participating teams. And while it may not have been the most nail-biting tournament of all time, it left little doubt as to who was most deserving of that money. Lots were the theme of the tournament in 1948, but the one close game did its best to make up for it. In its first round against Washington, Baylor trailed 34-17 before crawling its way back. By halftime, the Bears had cut the lead to 37-36, but midway through the second half, they had tied the game at 44. Don Heffington shot with 2 minutes left was the game winner during the Bears' 64-62 victory. Now, Kentucky guard Ralph Beard had already won the NIT title as a freshman in 1946. He didn't see his team slowing down anytime soon as 1947 got underway. And joined him in a repeat bid with teammate Wallace Jones and elder statesmen Cliff Barker and Kenny Rollins. Fresh from World War II duty, Beard had scored nearly 10 points a game as a freshman, but he was anxious to improve his game. And asked about what the sophomore could improve upon, Coach Adolph Rupp suggested his pupil work on free throws and left-handed dribbling, in addition to developing an outside jump shot. If you can correct those few weaknesses, Rupp told him, you will not only be a great basketball player, but you will almost be a perfect basketball player. Beard returned the following season in the best shape of his life. The Wildcats ran out to a 34-3 record, but the team fell one game short by losing the NIT title game to Utah. The Wildcats were determined to come back even stronger the following year. It didn't take fans long to realize this was the best University of Kentucky team yet. They won their first game by 39 points. Soon enough, the Stars had earned the nickname the Fabulous Five, a moniker they had definitely earned. For the third straight year, the Wildcats ran through the SEC season undefeated, winning by an astounding 28 points per game. If opponents needed any indication that Kentucky wasn't satisfied with the regular season crown, the team made a statement with a 56-point victory over Florida in the SEC tournament. Beard was named the Player of the Year, but just like the team's regular season success, that honor would ring hollow without championship hardware to accompany it. This year, however, Rupp wasn't messing around with the NIT. He was going straight after the NCAA crown. The first test would be against the Columbia squad that had gone 21-1 regular season. But the Wildcats stormed out to a 38-25 halftime lead, never looked back. The 76-53 victory earned University of Kentucky the right to face the Holy Cross, defending national champions and winners of 19 straight games. Kentucky took a quick 14-point lead, but the Crusaders would soon reel off 9 straight points to bridge the gap to just 36-32 early in the second half. Rupp called a timeout while one Holy Cross fan voiced his pleasure in University of Kentucky's misfortune. I got a foul called on me, and some guy sitting behind the bench. You just giving Kentucky and Rupp blank all the time, Jones said, and I get another foul and I wouldn't listen to him. Jones responded by scoring 5 quick points as the Wildcats went on a 7-0 run. Although Holy Cross kept it close, the University of Kentucky defense was too much to overcome. Ross had limited Holy Cross to All-American George Captain to just one free throw as the Wildcats held on for a 60-52 victory. Coach Rupp stressed defense as much as he did offense. He was really tough on that, Jones said. Rollins was very good in staying on his man, keeping him in the position he to shoot. But the wind had stopped the crowd from heckling the Wildcats, and the last taunt at Jones was one too many. Junior was helping the team pack up after the game, shot back with a comment about the scoreboard, which only aggravated his adversary even more. He threw his program at me, said with a smile Jones. And I had to drop my equipment and knock him down playing into the seats. The Wildcats already survived the toughest test when they faced Baylor in the championship game. It was over as soon as the ball was tipped. Kentucky held the Bears' scores for nearly 8 minutes to start the game. And by the time the Baylor shooters had found their touch, they had already spotted the University of Kentucky a 13-1 lead. The lead quickly grew to 24-7, although the Wildcats shot just 28% from the floor. The game was rarely close. Kentucky finished the game on cruise control and walked away with a 58-42 victory for the average all 5 stars for Kentucky were named to the Oklahoma Olympic team. They were picked up right where they left off, winning each of the 8 games to take the gold medal. As great as the NCAA title was best team in the world, had an even better ring to it. They're both special, but when you're standing in front of the King and Queen of England and get your medal, it's a real surprise and a real thing to happen for you. For a 20-year-old boy from the cold fields of Kentucky, standing in front of the King and Queen of England is a big honor. But accolades didn't stop there. Beard would later find out years after the championship, he was attending a Wildcats football game when he introduced himself to the spectators sitting next to him. They knew the acquaintance looked on in amazement as he shook his hand and introduced himself as Ralph Beard. It turned out that his parents had named him after the Kentucky Star, University Kentucky Star. In the 1990s, the Michigan's Fab Five would also take their name after Kentucky's quintet, but as they would later find out, nothing is quite as good as the original. All right, so the next chapter will be about 1949 Kentucky Wildcats. That'll be on Monday. It won't be on the air. Be live tomorrow. So that's it, man. That's it. I'm done with tonight. Thanks for those who tuned in. So then I'll talk to you on Sunday. Sunday I'll be on for the week that wasn't NBA. So then talk to you on Sunday.